Toby Nankervis is out for the round 11 clash versus Essendon. The final ins and outs have been released, and I did hear bits and pieces about this yesterday, but sat on it and I didn't want to say too much. But yes, Toby Nankervis will not be playing against the Bombers. Being managed, I believe it's more to do with obviously the massive game he had against Xerri the week before and a 5-day break. So no doubt he's going to be very sore after that encounter. So he is having a rest alongside Noah Bolter, who will be in bed with a cup of Milo, and Tom Lynch, who obviously had the concussion protocols. So coming in, we've got Campbell Gray, Samson Ryan, and Maurice Rioli Jr. Obviously, interesting to see a lot of comments today about the Samson Ryan front because his name was released a bit earlier as being an inclusion, and everyone thought he was the one replacing Lynch. But as I'd sort of hinted on Twitter a couple of times, he wasn't replacing Lynch. He's replacing NANK, although he probably will spend some time forward, but it does make our ruck stocks look a little bit more interesting and different to what we're used to seeing. So Samson Ryan comes in to play the number one ruck role, and you've still got Tom Sims who can do the backup job, which is going to be interesting to see what he can do in that space. Maurice Rioli coming in on the back of, he obviously had a really, really big last quarter in the VFL last week. And I know he didn't do much for the first 3 quarters, but that last quarter when he went into the midfield, he was electric, made things happen, and pretty much got us back into the game single-handedly almost. So I can definitely understand why they've lent that way. And I know it's not going to happen because I just can't see it happening, but I really don't think he's going to make it as a small forward. I think our best bet is actually him trying to become a midfielder because that's where he did the most damage in the VFL. And I've said this multiple times before, but Maurice Rioli Jr. in my eyes is a much better player when he's up around the contest, getting his hands on the football early and getting plenty of touches, even if they're little cheap 1-2s and things like that to help break a line or get away from a pack. I think he plays his best football when he's getting early possessions and gets his hands on it. Because then he starts pushing up deeper into defence around stoppages, can burst away from defensive 50, weaving in and out of traffic like we've seen. Otherwise, if he's playing as a small forward or a half forward, he can often be a bit isolated, and our ball movement to our forwards isn't great anyway. So it's actually really difficult for our small forwards to get involved in that sense. And that's when he can become a bit lost and go in and out of games. And I think that's what we're seeing sometimes when he plays full-time as a small forward for us. And I'm just not sure about his goal sense as well. Like, he can kick goals, but if we're comparing like he and a Seth Campbell, for example, in terms of goal sense, you can clearly see Seth Campbell's goal sense and goal IQ is through the roof compared to Morris, who probably gets more marks inside 50 and shots at goal from working hard into space rather than genuine roving and crumbing goals. So yeah, let's try and see him around the midfield a bit more. I reckon. I think we'll see some better results that way. Campbell Gray coming in to replace Noah Bolter, which I think is a good decision. I would have been equally as happy with he or Jacob Blight. Blight did have a very good game in the VFL, and I thought that Blight might have got the nod to potentially help ruck relief as well, along with Sims. And he could have played forward too, because my big concern at the moment, if we look at our named forward line, we've got Jack Ross, Seth Campbell, Ryan Mansell. I mean, I know it's not going to line up technically like that, but that's an ultra small half forward line. And then a full forward line of Sims, Lawler, and Jonty Fall. So I just don't know if we're one tall short, if that makes sense again, up forward. But looking at the Essendon defenders, Mackay and Reid are going to take they're going to take Fall and Sims. And then I suppose the next matchup of who plays on Lawler could be where we maybe try and get an advantage. But one thing's for certain, our forwards are going to have their work cut out for them. The way we deliver the ball to our forwards needs to be different. It can't just be bombing in high as per Tom Lynch protocol. We've got to lower our eyes. We've got to hit our targets, get on the move. Otherwise, it's going to be a really tough day to score. Defensive-wise, again, if we can keep Essendon under 80 points, we give ourselves a really good chance. And again, our defence seems to be pretty rock solid. Obviously, Bolter going out, but he didn't have a big impact last week, so it's probably not going to feel as noticeable. And Gray, like we all know, when he played his debut game the other week, he did not look out of place whatsoever. So I'm really, really keen to see how he goes. They've obviously got Peter Wright, Kyle Langford, and Nate Caddy as their big forwards. So Campbell Gray's going to probably get, which he'll probably get a Langford or a Caddy. Miller's going to have to play on Peter Wright, and raffle off the other ones. So Interesting changes. 3 big key pillars out for us. Bolter, Lynch, Nankervis. Not exactly the outs you want to have, but I can completely understand the rationale with Toby Nankervis. But yeah, big ins. It'll be interesting to see who we go with the sub. Trezai's very unlucky not to make it back in, as was Tyler Sonsie. So on the interchange, we've got listed Caleb Smith, Luke Traynor, Morris Rioli, Steely Green, and Kane McAuliffe. Typically speaking, the sub comes from one of those spots. I'm thinking it's going to be Caleb Smith or Steely Green, but we'll see how that plays out. Anyway, they are the changes for round 11. Big news. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm okay with the Samson Ryan rucking contest. I think it's a make or break game for him against Goldstein. He would have rucked against him in the VFL before. Goldstein's obviously bigger, more experienced, maybe a bit slower. So Samson Ryan needs to utilise his athletic ability to get around the ground, maybe a bit more mobile, and try and stretch him a little bit. So big challenge for Samson. It's go time for him. This is his opportunity to show that he can do it at the top level. And I still think it's a winnable game, but it's going to require a big effort from everybody involved. So let us know what you're thinking in the comments below, and we'll see you tomorrow night for a live show for the game itself. And until then, go Tigers.